Shalom. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm talking about what spirit are you under? Our words have power and open spiritual portals that give spirits access to our lives. Um, like in 1 John 4:1, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. But the part of this that I'm referring to, that we have to test the spirits. And the spirits that we want to be under are the spirits that are in aligned with Father's word only. All right. And um, many times we make declarations over our lives. Sometimes we don't think about it as being a declaration, but we come under the spirit of whatever we declare. And I hear people making negative declarations, unaware of the prophecies they're speaking over their own lives. When I was in the world, and sometimes I'll hear people, and it's particularly older people, have dialogue like this. Good morning, how are you doing today? I ain't doing so good, but ain't no sense talking about it because ain't nobody want to hear about that. But that's a declaration because you're opening up a window to your soul to let all those I ain't doing so good spirits come in. And when you do that, it takes it's a whole lot easier to keep them out than it is to get them in and then get them out. All right, so you want to speak positive declarations over your life. And if we're making declarations anyway, let's declare what Father speaks over our lives. And we want to speak over our lives what's in accordance to what He's declared in His Word. We are a holy people. We are people that are set apart unto Him. And how are we set apart? Because we obey His commands. And what is the relationship to keeping His commands in our life? Obedience brings about the blessings. Disobedience brings about the curses. And no other scripture in the Bible gives it so plain than Deuteronomy 28. So read it. Read the first part because that's the part that we want, like verses 1 through 14, because those are all the blessings that He will bless us with. Now, you ought to read the rest of it because those are the things that are kind of put a barrier up. I don't want to go into that curses territory because sometimes I pray, Father, let me stay on the blessing side. Let me stay on the blessing side. But when we seek the Almighty in everything, we also have to give our plans to Him too. Okay. And when we seek Almighty for His leading and guiding, we willingly give up what we call our free will right to lead and guide ourselves because that's worldly, because we want to do the things that He wants to do. And even in Psalm 37:23, it says, the steps of a good and righteous man are directed and established by the Lord. And He delights in His way and blesses our path. He blesses our path. So, with hindsight, I can see where many of my plans were interrupted, and Father had a better plan for me. I'll tell you just a few of them. In 1989, when I moved from New York City, I'd been living in New York City for many years, back to my hometown of Detroit. It was only supposed to be a pit stop because my sister was living in California, even though my mom and dad were in Detroit. So I had made my arrangements with my sister to move to California and to get a job there. And so what happened? I met Floyd in Detroit. And by the time the visit came, for me to move there, it turned into a visit as opposed to moving. So I went there for a visit and I returned and I married Floyd. And those that turned into 33 years of marriage and 13 years of walking in the Hebrew Roots Messianic faith together at House of Israel in Charlotte. Now, when we married, we had planned to stay in Michigan, but through various situations, we found ourselves in Alabama. And in Alabama, we met people who are of the Messianic faith. And as a subsequent to that, we was introduced to Arthur Bailey. And then after following his ministry for a couple of years, we moved to South Carolina so we could be near Charlotte to be a part of the ministry. And I am part of that ministry. And another thing and that was a very good move because my life changed as a result of coming into this faith. And life changed in the sense of I've given my life over to Father and know what is expected of me so that I can receive his blessings. And that's Torah. That's the law. Now, Floyd and I had intended to have children. But when Floyd and I married, we were both like 40, 39 or 40. And so we didn't have children, had a couple of miscarriages. Now my mom said, she said, girl, your eggs was too old. Okay. But anyway, Father brought two children into our lives that we adopted as infants. And so that turned out to be a wonderful situation, especially by the time that we adopted them, they were like 1 and 2 and we were 50. Okay. And so, but it's been a blessing to our lives all the time. Now, when we were in Alabama, I was homeschooling the children, and we moved to South Carolina. They decided they wanted to go to high school here, so we found a small high school, and they both graduated from that high school. And so, what my intentions was to get a job at one of the local universities here teaching because I had taught in Detroit before I had gotten married and then wanted to homeschool my children. But don't you know, Father had a better plan because I started working for the ministry, and now I am a part of Hebrew Roots University. I'm their VP of Academic Affairs, and I'm an instructor there. So Father works things out because I couldn't have anticipated this because when I moved to South Carolina to be close to the ministry, Hebrew Roots University was a dream and a thought in Arthur's mind that he hadn't shared then at the moment. But then when he shared it, I kind of like bought into it, and now it is a reality. So we have to learn that yes, we need to make plans, but we always need to plan within that plan. The Father can interrupt our plans at any moment and give us his plan. And we need to ask for him to show us his plan before we get too far down the road in our own plan and then don't want to make a turn around when he says to us, I want you to go this way, not that way. But I'm going to tell you, sometimes it takes patience and sometimes long-suffering patience when we align with his plan. Because I really wanted to have children, but as it lined up, everything fell into place. And we had vowed to keep our ideas and our thoughts subjected to his plan. The reward of following Jehovah's leading is that I have a freedom in my mind of knowing I follow him and I don't need all the answers. And that's a big one because before coming into the faith and even when initially coming into the faith, I want to know what the next step is, But that's where faith comes in. We have to know that he's leading us, know that we're tuned in to where he is leading us, and we keep that tune focused in on the right channel through our obedience and having faith that we just wait. And that faith lets me know I don't need all the answers because he's directing my path. And I trust that he's going to reveal the plan for me as I need to know it, and he'll provide whatever I need to carry out his plan for my life. That's confidence in Father. And I pray that you have confidence in Father on whatever you are doing in your life now, and that you reflect back on where he has led you before when there was uncertainty, and now you see the certainty, how it worked out, and so that you can have a peace of mind and relax in your mind, not having all the answers, but knowing that the answerer is taking care of everything. Shalom. Please like and share and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks.